Peptides are powerful and often misunderstood.
And we're here to change that, one conversation at a time.
I'm Dr. Kylie Burton.
And I'm Jessica Bricky.
This is Pep Talk, Peptides Unpacked, science made simple, results made real. Autoimmune diseases. There are around 80 to 150, with the list continuing to grow longer and longer. In fact, 1 in 10 people globally may have been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And it's definitely more than that because that's just diagnosed. Rates are rising worldwide, with some studies showing annual increases in prevalence and incidences all over the world. That's why autoimmune disease is our topic of conversation today, and you might be shocked about the treatment that you can use for peptides with autoimmune. We've brought on a special guest, Dr. Jami West. She is an expert in autoimmune diseases and GLP-1, GIP, and the GLP-3. Can we say that yet?
We
Is
we
it
can we
like
certainly can
out?
talk about it. We don't have that with the telemedicine company that we're using, but we can certainly talk about it.
Okay. Well, these GLPs, we're going to talk about how they impact autoimmune disease with Dr. Jami West today. So, Jami, thanks for joining on with us.
Thank you for having me.
And just take us back into a little bit of your story so we know like you've experienced this as a clinician, but you also experienced this personally too.
Absolutely. So I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism when I was 19, so over 21 years ago, and was on meds for a little bit, went off of them when I changed diet and all of that. And then a few years ago, diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And I could manage symptoms, but things just, they never really got back to where they were before that. Fatigue, weight gain, brain fog was terrible. And it wasn't until we added in GLP-1s that like night and day difference. And I feel like I can hold a conversation at the end of a day when I get home. I can talk to my kids and I know my name, but like fatigue is not there, inflammation's gone, all of that.
That's
It's pretty
cool.
incredible. That is my experience as well. 21 years ago was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which I've controlled largely myself. And the reason, Kylie knows this, but the reason that I even started using them myself was for the neuroprotection benefit. I am the daughter of a stroke survivor who's the daughter of a stroke survivor. So anything that I could do to prevent risk of stroke, Alzheimer's, dementia, sign me up, which is what started my journey. And what was the most profound thing that happened for me was the fact that I was able to not forget where I was in the middle of a thought, a sentence, speaking, forgetting somebody's name. It was like I was suddenly smart again. It was wild.
Yeah, that's incredible. That mental clarity has been one of the biggest differences that I've seen personally. And I've tried thousands of things over the years.
I was just going to ask you, like, walk us through the things that you've attempted. You said diet, and then you switched over to GLPs and have had that great success. Take us into a deep dive, like a detailed journey of your experience with Hashimoto's, trying all of the things, and now the thing that's really impacted you the most.
So I have ran extensive blood work looking at mold, at chronic infections, addressing that, things like Epstein-Barr, those things that we know can trigger it. Um, Looking at inflammation markers, going completely paleo, which did really good. And then it got to a point where it didn't anymore. And then you hit like 38, 39, 40, and then comes like now your adrenals are going to start talking to you, and there's the weight gain from that. So I've gotten blood sugar under control, made sure that we weren't dealing with lows at night, addressed adrenals, addressed hormones, like doing Dutch testing and hormone zoomers and things like that to balance everything. Been
You've
on,
walked down like every functional medicine avenue you can possibly walk down.
yeah. Yeah. And all of the supplements, fulvic acid and omegas and all of the everything, methylene blue, like nothing that would really cut it until and within a week of adding in tirzepatide, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what it's supposed to feel like. And it didn't take 15 supplements a day to feel like this. It
Ah,
was a game
I
changer.
love I love that sentence right there. You got off of 15 supplements a day, transitioned over to peptides, GLPs, Which, did you start those for weight loss? Because that's what everybody knows them for. We just want people to know that they do way more than that.
They do way more than that. I was like, maybe a size bigger than I wanted to be. That wasn't my big goal with that. It was
Okay,
more the brain function.
brain function. Um, just for my own selfishness, when you'd gone to the GLPs, did your appetite like drop? Because that's like my biggest fear, is I'm already caloric deficient. I already don't eat enough. So it's like I don't want to do something that's going to suppress that even worse.
So we microdose, and
Right.
that makes the biggest difference. But no, and that's what we tell patients too, is if you start to not get hungry, then you need to tell us because we need to hear, your body needs to know when it's hungry and when it's full. And if we're starving ourselves, then that's nutrient depletion. And then you're going to see muscle loss. And who knows what we're going to see with people, doing high doses over the years. But the food noise, like the something sweet sounds good after lunch, that went away. But I never like got to where I didn't want to have a meal because
That's That's the biggest difference with microdosing and being able to do something like what we're doing with compounding, because then you can adjust that dose personally. Because a microdose, I know that there has to be some standard of care, right? So our telemedicine company has a standard microdose that they have to prescribe. I understand that. And in my opinion, that dose is significantly higher than what it is for most people. Some
yeah.
people may need to get there. That might be the dose that they need to be for their microdose longer term. But that signal, that ability to listen to the hunger cues, how our bowel movements are having, the nausea, all of those things are signals that our body's telling us it's turned up too high. And everybody thinks, well, if I just wouldn't eat, I'm going to lose weight and hit my goals. Well, sure, you're not, you're going to lose weight because you're starving yourself, but that doesn't mean that you're healthy on the inside. So microdosing with a compounded version where you can get right to the unit of what is good for your body and listening to that, still being hungry. We want you to not sit down at 10 o'clock at night when it's really time to be winding down for bed and have the pantry screaming your name saying, come and get me a bag of chips or whatever it is. So that's turned on smarter, but not that lunch and dinner go by and you have no interest at all. So finding that sweet balance with microdosing is really powerful and important to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you both have Hashimoto's, but this impacts more than just Hashimoto's and the thyroid. Jamie, what have you seen your clients go through?
I've seen incredible results with patients that have Lyme's, where it really starts to turn down that inflammation and help with a lot of the neurological issues that they're dealing with. I have patients with
I
MS.
wouldn't think Lyme and GLPs. Like that's
Yeah.
cool. So the mechanism behind it's really just tackling inflammation. And then from there, it's a cascade.
Yeah, and your body can start to heal whenever it's not dealing with the inflammation and the cortisol and all the insulin. It feels safe again and it can really have a chance to heal.
Okay, so you
I'm
did Lyme
starting.
disease and you said MS.
Yeah, MS. I have some with lupus, fibromyalgia. It's really made a big difference in fibromyalgia, like helping heal the gut, where they're not in chronic pain all the time. And you know that they're at a really good spot when they're like, I just don't know what to do with all this energy. Like I have so much, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, like that's a great
A
thing.
problem to have.
Yeah, good problem to have. And really, like just from a female perspective, whenever they're like, I feel like I can be a better mom because it's not always the things that are just controlling their body and how they function, but they can actually focus on their family like we should be doing anyway.
That's
Yes.
really powerful. I
What
never
mom
really thought
doesn't
about
want
it.
more energy?
Yeah.
I didn't think about it in terms of, from, mom stress, and how that kind of helps that, get down and play with your kid and maybe not even snap at your child
Mhm.
because you're at your wit's end in pain and no energy. And I mean, you're tired as a mom anyway. just because of the job is exhausting. But when you add all these metabolic dysfunctions on top of it, that's so much more. So your stress level is so low.
Hmm.
Healing with GLPs and healing the gut, which is directly correlated with our brain function, is significantly going to impact that. I never gave that a thought.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. And there's even like even on the hormone side a little, I have a lady that she had a hysterectomy, but she can still kind of tell when her body's going through like what would normally be her menstrual cycle. And last week she's like, I didn't even feel that last month. I just felt like normal month, like no irritability, no, you should probably be having your cycle right now. Like that was completely gone too. So there, it's just incredible all the way around.
I explained this to somebody the other day too when we're talking about blood sugar and balance because at the core of this, it was designed to help balance blood sugar, right? That's what it's been used for decades. It's not new, even though people say we're just hearing about it. No, it's been around for decades, and it was used for balancing blood sugar, which is still the primary goal of these peptides. But when it comes to hormone balancing, what we know is when we're consuming too many carbohydrates, sugar, and our liver is going to become problematic. Our liver is going to I talk about it in terms of it's a coat closet and it can only hold so many coats, right? So you keep shoving it in and shove it in, which is excess carb, excess energy the body's not using, which increases our cholesterol levels because those coats are now bursting out into the body and they have to go somewhere else to store, and it stores as fat. But that liver gets bogged down, and the liver, as we know, does over 500 jobs. It's so important, including changing hormones from one form to another or clearing hormones. So when we don't have balanced blood sugar, we're going to see, I really believe that's at the crux of a lot of infertility issues too. That's why metformin has been a big
Mhm.
go-to for women that have not been able to conceive, is to balance that blood sugar through metformin, which is awful on the system, in my opinion. But it's going to have huge impact on any stage of hormonal production, whether we are in reproductive years or we are postmenopausal, because that liver needs to be healthy. It needs to not be bogged down with too much stored excess glucose or glucagon or whatever it is, and clear and make hormones as we should.
Yeah, it really makes a big difference when you take that load off. And I think that that's why a lot of women they get so sick on the high doses of peptides also is because that liver is just so bogged down already and they're so stressed out and then you put such high doses of this in and then you can't expect anything but to get sick.
Do you think there is play? So you do a lot of microdosing, it sounds like. So do I. I'm a big proponent of that, but there are certainly going to be people that need a little bit more than just a microdose, depending on their goals and everybody's situation. And there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this or that are listening to the Friend's Journey and they have FOMO. They just want to lose the weight. They want to do it really quickly. And I'm a big, like, this isn't a race. This is the rest of your life. We don't need to do this quickly. So let's do it responsibly so you don't fall back into these old things. Use this tool to change your life. So, coming at this from a place of microdosing in your practice, do you believe in higher doses? Like, do you see where that can be necessary for some people? And how do you approach it?
If everything else has been changed and isn't working. So we support gut and liver starting off. And then we have like they have protein goals. We have it in a full system where, they know what they're supposed to eat, when, how much. They know like we make sure they're having bowel movements every day. They don't have a lot of other things going on. And sometimes they will get increased, but we don't ever go over the microdosing that's prescribed.
So, if somebody came to you with a 200-pound weight loss goal, do you think that they would ever need to get above that?
We don't typically, we just tell them it's going to take a long time and we
Yeah,
want it to be sustainable. Like we don't
yeah,
want
Yeah,
this to
like
be
as
where
it
you're
should
like,
take a long time.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, not where it's
It
like,
took
well,
a
I did
long
this
time to
thing.
gain it. Might as well take a long time to get it back. The
Yeah,
safe route. And that's where we have
absolutely.
problems with the standard dosing. It's like people are like, I want to lose 100 pounds in a year. It's like, whoa, 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 hold up.
Hmm.
Maybe we should do like more like 30 pounds in a year safely.
Yeah, and you want it to be, something that where they can maintain it long term. It's not just this thing they
Correct.
did this
Yeah.
time and they lost weight. Now they're looking for the next thing.
Yeah. Jamie, I want to jump back to the autoimmune component because we hit weight loss plenty of times. Yes, I hear you. Um, when you look at labs, because you said you're a big on lab proponent, what do you see in the lab with numbers as far as like antibodies? And I'm a big lab girl.
Yeah.
So what do you see?
So you definitely will see, like in autoimmunity, triglycerides are usually low. So you'll actually see those things start to come up as the body starts to heal. Definitely antibodies come down, liver's not congested. Um, because gut is working better, you're going to see more of that T4 to T3 conversion. Like things just start working so much better. Not as much cardiac inflammation, clotting proteins go down. There was a paper that was published probably about 2 months ago now, and they found that over long-term use with peptides, all causes of morbidity and mortality were decreased, which is astounding. So it's just been really incredible to see. I haven't done a brain zoomer yet, pre and post, but that should be coming up. I think he has those done in about a week. So we can see like antibodies in the cerebellum and in the brain come down too. I'm super
Wow,
excited for that.
that's cool.
Ooh.
Um, I love that because like I'm 36. I feel like I have the world ahead of me. And I was talking to a friend yesterday and he was like, I just want to try everything because I want to see how much better I can feel. I look at my grandparents. I only have one left. And he's 90. He has to have somebody with him 24/7. It's like yesterday I was on grandpa duty and I just like, you don't want to live elderly years like that. And I
Mhm.
think it's so powerful what these peptides can do with all different messaging in all aspects of the body. Cellular messaging in every place. And so it has a position in every way, shape, or form, whether you're wanting to heal something that's already gone wrong, or if you're wanting to be proactive and be more of the biohacker with these peptides. Like the potential is so cool, and only time is going to tell how
Mhm.
powerful these things really are when they're done right, as we've previously mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, Can I ask you about that? Brings me to a point. I have a lot of people that come into my office that are late 60s, early 70s. They've been diagnosed with various autoimmune conditions within the past 20, 30 years. Um, do you think that there is a time limit at which this isn't a beneficial practice for somebody as they age, or do you think that at any time this could help potentially any of those people suffering?
Yeah, I don't think there's a time limit at all. I think you can make improvement in almost everything. And especially when they're older. I mean, you think about how much even just care has changed and the things that we know and the things that they've been exposed to their whole life where you couldn't touch a lot of those things before. Not the way that you can now and not as quickly as you can with peptides. So no, I think even later in life, absolutely it can make a difference.
I asked because I'm really wanting to get my mom on a GLP. I want to microdose with her. I've noticed post-stroke, just her memory's not as sharp. In the year following, if it's going to be 3 years this spring, in the year following, she worked so hard and it came back pretty good. But this last year has been really tough, and you're seeing this big decline in brain function. And I just can't help but wonder if, I know that blood sugar was never balanced, stress was always high, but she too was diagnosed with thyroid, hypothyroid, because that's what it was forever ago. And Hashimoto's wasn't really being called out probably for what it was for her at the time. But I keep thinking, man, this is going to really help her if we could do this.
Absolutely. Well, you know that high blood pressure, that high blood sugar affects the brain, and we have
Sure.
now type 3 diabetes.
Right.
So I think absolutely, like it's going to bring the inflammation down in the brain, and why not see what can happen? Yeah.
And
I'm
now
all
you
for
have the
making her do things.
personalized dosage,
Hmm.
which makes it a no-brainer.
Hmm.
Personalized dosage with the oral drops if she doesn't want to do the injections. So, okay, Jamie, we don't want to stow you for too long. Thank you for letting us pick your brain. Thank you for letting us share your experience, not just personally, but clinically as well. If you were talking to any autoimmune person out there, what advice would you give them?
That what you usually hear are the horror stories, but when you do it right, like you don't see those horror stories. When it's, paired the right way, there's practitioner oversight, even you're fueling your body the right way, you just see the positive, and it can just absolutely change your life.
I feel like the autoimmune people, like they are the people who are on the ball anyways with their foundational components. That adding this is just going to give them that last little like oomph and get them to be feeling like, as you said, how they should feel
Yeah.
with all of the different supplements that they're trying to take and
Yeah.
get through. So that's the fun part of it is you can exchange the long list of supplements and feel your best on just a
Absolutely.
Faster.
tiny microdose of GLPs, which is
Yep.
super cool. Okay, Jamie, where do they find you?
I'm online at drjamiwest.com or same thing on Instagram or Facebook.
And that's Jami
Right. No E.
West. No E. Okay, that's a wrap. Jess, what's our new outro?
All righty. Well, I had it right in front of me, but of course, as we're talking, I lost the new outro. But I want to say, if today's conversation sparked something for you, whether you want to learn more about peptides, obtain them the right way, or start building a peptide business, that's exactly what I do. And you don't need a wellness background or a big audience to get started. Kylie and I have built a team together, a really powerful lineup of professionals that are ready to help guide you and build every step of the way. So you can come find me at my new Instagram handle, jessb.talkshealth on Instagram, or you can grab me on my website at b2bwithjess.com. We can build something together. Kylie?
If you're ready to build a real peptide income stream, a business with actual legs, something that can grow to 4, 5, 6, and dare I say it, yes, even 7 figures, Jess and I have intentionally built this team with a powerful line of professionals around us so that when you come in, you're not figuring this out alone. I have built it. I know the path, and I know nothing more. I love nothing more than helping other people walk it too. So if you're interested on the business side of things, go to drkylieburton.com. If you're interested in starting your GLP-1s or 2s or 3s or any other peptide, you can start it at drkylieburton.com. Let's get to work. This is Pep Talk, Peptides Unpacked.